So down here is Zeek. Zeek is the best intrusion detection system. It used to be called Bro. It was written right here in Berkeley. And for some reason, they renamed it to Zeek. They don't ask me before they make up these stupid names. But they wrote a really good training product. You can totally practice without installing anything. It turns the way Zeek works is it's like a programming language. It's like an IDS, but you write little bits of code. So if you go here, you can try Zeek. And so here's the code that does hello world in Zeek, which is Zeek works by event. The Zeek init event happens when you start Zeek, and when you leave, it does the Zeek done function. And so here it prints hello world, and when you leave, it prints goodbye world. So there you are, and I can change this hello world 2. It's live, and you can run it down here. And when you run it, it prints the results down here, hello world 2, goodbye world. So that's the start. And the point is, this is live, and this is so cool. Not only can you write any program and run it in Zeek, you can upload a packet capture file and analyze it in Zeek. You can use this for real analysis. Now, it's normally used on live packet data to respond to things, but you can certainly upload PCAPs and analyze them here, and you will as you go ahead. There's a whole series of lessons here where you learn how to do things like variables and operators and all that jazz. And I've got a whole series of challenges here where you can put in flags you find on all these things so you can learn how Zeek works. And it's really simple, sort of like JavaScript or Python. It's a little bit of code, and so that's how you learn the basics of the programming part of Zeek. And if you want to install it, the next project here is installing and using Zeek. And here, it's pretty awesome. I have the installation instructions for Linux. I don't even know if you can put it on Windows, but you can put it on Linux with just a few command line commands, and then you run Zeek, and then what happens is when you run Zeek, it makes a bunch of log files that automatically log the interesting stuff. So if you ping a couple of websites like MSN and Kitten War, then you just go to the DNS log, and they're just sitting right there. It automatically logs all the events. Sort of like Sysmon, it automatically logs the interesting events, so you don't have to configure anything to do normal things. You can now go to an HTTP site, and you will just find it right there in the HTTP log. You can do basic authentication. Go to a website where you have to log in, like you did for several of my servers with Student 1, and it will record it. You can turn on a configuration file to capture the password, which it does not do by default for security, and then you'll be able to see username and password that you logged in with. You go to a site, and so you can get a basic password PIN. You can detect SSH brute force attacks. If you set up a configuration file for SSH Guesser, you can configure a file here that will detect if there's more than 10 password guesses in some period of time, which I don't remember what it is, and then if you perform a brute force attack, it will pick it up. So, it's very nice, and this is considered the cat's meow in intrusion defense these days. So it's one of the tools people should know about. Anyway, so check out Zeek if you like. Another tool worth checking out is Yara. Yara is the standard for publishing signatures, and you can install it on Windows or anything. Yara is incredibly simple. It's really almost nothing more than grep. You make a rule like this, where it looks for a string like evil, and if it finds it, then that is the condition for this example rule. And then when you run it, it will just find if you have any files that match this. So you can find files that contain the word evil. So I can put good in a file named good file and evil in a file named bad file. And when you run it, you just run Yara on your rules on a folder. It will test the files in the folder and find the ones that match the rules. So it's incredibly simple. But it has become the standard for publishing indicators of compromise. Every time there's a new ransomware attack or something, people will publish the Yara rules to detect this bad thing. So you run this, and you can try for all kinds of things. So if you download Minesweeper and get an open list of rules, it will detect all kinds of things about the program. Like, is this a Windows executable? Is it a library? Is it a console program? They have rules for all these things you might want to know about a file. So when you scan it, it will tell you it's a PE32, it's a Windows GUI, it's packed, it has a signature. You know, there are lists of rules available to just give you information about files. And so there's a few challenges here where you can find, and there's ways to challenge. You can challenge something to find files containing the word evil. And here's where you have to find files containing hexadecimal 4. You don't have to go for ASCII characters. You can look for patterns of bytes. And here you can look for a pattern like this. 1 byte of 4, 3 to 6 bytes of anything, then a byte of 5, 3 to 6 bytes of anything, and then a byte of 6. You can write rules like that look for any pattern of bytes, and it will tell you which files match those rules. So that's kind of fun, and that is the standard. It's incredibly simple. It's doing nothing more than what grep does, really, but it is the standard, and publishing Yara rules is the standard way. Oh, here's the reason why the name changed. Let's see. Because they called it Bro, a new name for the Bro project, yeah. And my thing will not grow. Oh, there we are. We announced in 2017 it will change. We decided it was time to change. Some people in the community feel very strong about it. The most obvious reason is because it looks like bro culture. That's what I thought. Bro culture is like sexist or something, and they don't want to look like that. Okay. Anyway.
The original idea when they created the Pro, it was related to pro programmer. And that is where the environment back then only had men.
Yeah. Okay, so they want to be less sexist. So where did they get Zeek?
No, that's a decision that they asked the people of the community to.
Yeah, just okay. I can see getting rid of Bro, but what is this Zeek thing anyway? That doesn't seem like a small step from Bro to Zeek, but what do I know? I'm nobody. Anyway, I'm going to stop the video.